What's up everybody, welcome to another episode of the greatest vlog in the world. My name is Jeff, your favorite tour guide in Madeira, and yes, I'm back on the island after all of the America videos and the America trip. It was absolutely awesome, but today's video is all about hiking. It's been a while since we've done a hiking video, and also we've had some forest fires this last summer, and many of you have some questions regarding the hiking and everything that's going on in Madeira right now. So in this video, we plan to answer those questions if you come into Madeira in the next 6 months to a year. This video hopefully can help you with some tips and tricks. So yeah, let's do it. Encountered our first problem. All right, so yes, we are in Camacha at the moment. This is Levada de Serra do Faial. This is otherwise known as Paradise Valley, Mimosa Valley, Valparaiso. There's a couple of names for this particular route, and this is one of the quieter parts. I'm not sure if this is a PR. Do you know, Vitor? We're not sure if it's a PR. We can check. You can check online. It's about 20 minutes out of Funchal, and we've encountered our first obstacle. I think this is passable. We have seen people on the path. We know this path is quite calm, so for all intensive purposes we're going to cross this, and we're going to be very careful. But this is already an idea of what we can find when we're hiking in Madeira, and it is a particularly windy day, so we are going to be very careful looking up at the trees and things. So hopefully nothing disastrous will happen today. Hey Oscar.
Yeah, man.
Cross over here, and then we're going to get into some tips and tricks, and we're going to be answering the big questions today, such as, you know, the peak to peak hike, right? What everybody wants to know, what's going on with the peak to peak hike, and we're going to talk about this. Look, just careful, huh? Well, it's not every day you see cyclists on the Levadas. Doesn't happen often, but I think this is one of the routes that they actually use because it's flat and reasonably wide. So the first question that I've been seeing most of is, should I still come to Madeira after the fires? And that is an absolute yes. All right, there is still so much to see in Madeira. Unfortunately, when you see some of these images online of the fires and things like that, and I know it was a disastrous thing and I don't want to get into it too much, but when you see the videos online, it looks like the whole island is on fire, right? And it looks really bad. And I'm not saying that it wasn't bad, all right, but it's not what people think it is, right? So many people saw it and they're like, oh my God, the whole of Madeira is burning, and it's not the case, right? Yes, there was a big part of the area that was burnt. Most of it was up in the mountains, and most on the south side, most of which was exotic forest. There was a piece of laurisilva that was burnt. I myself have not yet got the information of how much it was because I haven't had the chance to see it. All of the hikes or the hikes where those parts were burnt are closed. You know, they're up in the top parts of Santana by Caldeirão do Inferno, which has been closed already for a while. So it's nothing's changed there. The only things that you won't be able to see are some of the mountain passes, some of the mountain treks up at the higher parts of the island. So we're going to get to the peak to peak bits in a second, but those parts are closed, and they will be closed for a while, I think. Regarding the peak to peak, thankfully they were very fast in opening up some of the trails. So our forest rangers went up there to check the safety and all of these things, and they've opened temporarily parts of the trail. So let's imagine this is Pico do Arieiro, this is Pico Ruivo. Somewhere in the middle it's closed, so you can't do the entire trek. So from either side you can do some on the way there and on the way back. So you've got Pico do Arieiro, which you can do in the sunrise, all right? And you can go all the way to the stairway to heaven. And you can do Pico Ruivo, actually just below Pico Goivo, so you cannot get to Pico Goivo, the highest peak of the island. You can get to the shelter house just below, and that is about an hour's hike as well. Here's a little tip for you guys. If you're asking locals about hikes, don't use the numbers, use the names, okay? Because I think a lot of us are a little bit like me when you say PR6, PR8. Do you know what PR6 is?
No idea.
PR9? Nope. Do you know any of the PR? No?
PR10 is do Furado.
Me personally, I don't think that the complete hike is going to open anytime soon. I think that there is a lot of work to do there. There was a fire in the mountains, and this of course is going to cause some instability. So there's going to be some rain now in the rainy season, and with the heat of the fires, with the cold of the mountains, the temperatures and the rain, that could cause a lot of ground shift. All right, and these are the precautions that we have to take now in the next couple of months. So it's a good idea if you're coming in the next 6 months to start thinking about plan Bs. And I think a good one is sunrise at Pico do Arieiro, stairway to heaven kind of thing. And then sunset around Pico Goivo, the house of Pico Goivo, because you can't get to Pico Goivo at the top. Or you can use them vice versa as well. It all depends on the time of the year and what you're interested in. However, the traffic is pretty crazy these days in Pico do Arieiro. We're going to get to that later in the video. So don't go away. We're going to be talking about what else is left over, how to stay safe on the island, a couple of answering questions from what I've seen in forums and things like that, giving my opinion on the hikes. And this is from somebody who's done a lot of hiking here in Madeira, okay? I'm not some influencer who's just started influencing. I've been in this business for 13 years this year. Actually, I think it was in July. I made 13 years old, hit the road tours. So we've been doing this for a while, okay? But yeah, less blabbing, let's carry on moving. And we're gonna bring you some more good stuff. Let's go. This has always been a bit of an interesting route for me. For a long time, I've been planning routes, hiking routes around the island. And as some of you may know, I've done the east to west crossing over of the island, the big walk, which is now our hiking business that we do every day. So we got hikes going out Monday to Friday, every day of the week. And we'll talk about that later. But over here, we can see the signs where this actual trail can start in Monte, all right, in Funchal, and can go all the way to Santo da Serra. So you can see there Chupana Monte, and then it says Camacha, Santo da Serra. So this has been a trail that I've always been kind of interested in when it comes to actually going through, crossing the east to west. Now, camping, illegal camping, wild camping, should I say, is illegal in Madeira. It's illegal in Portugal, actually, and it is highly frowned upon here. A lot of the locals don't like it, all right? There's a lot of people who don't like it. I don't want to get into the politics, but you cannot wild camp and you should not wild camp, all right? So there are campsites spread along the island, and you do have to ask for permission. You have to get a permit to go camping in these sites. I've done a video on this channel on how to camp in Madeira, so you can go and look for that. So if you are camping, you need to be careful that you need to camp in authorized places and that you have the actual documents, the permits, should I say, to camp there. If you don't, you will get a fine, all right? The forest police will be around, and they are hunting down, not hunting down, but they are looking for these situations because of the increased number of tourists and, of course, the safety of everyone in our mountains. The other kind of tip that I have for these people who are crossing the island, east to west, or want to do multi-day hiking with camping and all this kind of stuff, is that you are going to have to reorganize your routes alongside the camping trails, and also probably more alongside the ocean side hikes. So for instance, you get a problem when you get from Paul da Serra through the Encomiada Valley up to Pico Goivo. That is a common crossing to get from one side to the other, and unfortunately that is closed. Actually was closed before the fires as well, because of the renovations to the power station in Encomiada. So the best thing that you could do, it is a little bit of a rougher trail, but again, if you're doing this kind of trail, you probably are an experienced hiker and fit enough to do it, is you probably have to go down to São Vicente and camp in the camping site of São Vicente. Do you remember the name of that place? Chão dos Louros. And then from there, you probably want to do the Caminho Real, all right, which is the old royal path, which Jackson Groves has also documented. I haven't done it yet. I want to do it one day. I'll do it in a different light. So you can expect some hiking videos in the distant future. I don't want to say the near future, but the distant future, because I do want to do that kind of stuff. But you know, the hike to hike, you know, is staying in different places. It's not as glamorous as people think. It is pretty hardcore, and it's for this hardcore hiker, camper kind of person. If you do need help with this kind of stuff, you can join our Patreon account, and for only €4.50 you can support this channel, so we can bring more cool stuff to you. And there is a product there where you can have a chat with me, a video chat with me, and I can help you, you know, mark this route kind of thing if you want to. And if you want to come here, of course, and do hiking on your own without any companies or any things like that, you know, if that's what you want to do, it's a lot more work, and we'll get into that. Coming up next, we'll talk about you know, the car situation, the parking, the self-guided, self-made tours. And I hope I'm not talking too much. This is all about answering people's questions and trying to give as much value as possible, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's carry on walking. We've still got a little bit of time before we have to get back to our jobs. Remember, we have real jobs, all right? We're not YouTubers, okay? We've got some cool new views on the hike. I actually wish we had more time, because I would like to go further, but I think we're gonna do another video on how to do this by local bus one of these days. Number one question, how to check which hikes are open. And this is very easy. You have to go to the official IFCN website, right? There's loads of information online. Unfortunately, some of it is not good information. So if you go to the Facebook groups, for instance, and I hate bashing people, but if you go into the Facebook groups, you're just gonna find confusion, right? People ask questions and they get nailed with all sorts of grumpy people, you know, that are just like, don't come here, don't do this, don't do that. Like, it's just ridiculous. What happens on Facebook groups is nowhere near what happens in real life in Madeira. Most Madeirans, most locals that you see out and about are happy and enjoying themselves, but on the Facebook groups, everyone is attacking one another. Not just locals, expats as well, and even tourists, you know, people that think that this island is just for them. You do need to be nice to the people that are coming and going. All right, this is for everyone, so let's respect everybody and let's be nice. All right, help your fellow traveler, help your fellow local, help people around you. So I don't want to get too sidetracked. Maybe that was a little bit of a rant. And I've also made a more in-depth video a couple of years ago, something like 35 tips for hiking in Madeira. You should watch that video because it's a little bit more in depth. I wanted to focus this video more about what's going on right now. How do you check the weather? All right, this is another one, because one, we are going into spring. No, I wish we were going into spring. We're going into autumn, winter, and then spring before eventually getting back to summer, right? When we shot this, it is in fact September. It feels like summer, but there are colder times coming. And I have already personally felt some cold in Santana in the early morning, in Caleta in the evening, also up in Pico do Arieiro. I'm pretty sure it's starting to get pretty cold. So you have to dress for all seasons, all right? I have 3 sources. Windy.com, all right, for me is the best app that you can use to check the weather, because you can see different parts of the island and where the microclimates are. You can check for rain, for clouds, for wind, for everything. Number 2 is Mountain Forecast, and that I use for the higher parts. Pico do Arieiro, Pico Ruivo, and Bica de Cana are the 3 points that I use to check different points of the island. It gives you the temperature, it gives you the rain, it gives you the wind as well. All 3 of those are very important. And then the third resource that I use are the webcams Madeira webcams. The first one that comes up, it's called Portal Net Madeira, and there you can check what the weather looks like in each different place. This is not new for a lot of people, but I'm just reinforcing it for maybe those of you who have no idea. In conjunction of those three, you can use that to make your own routes and your own planning when you're coming out here to check what the weather is like in different areas. You have to be prepared for everything, so make sure you've got hiking boots, make sure you've got waterproofs, make sure you've got water, and number three, make sure you've got sunscreen. All right, we are going to be out 4 hours, 5 hours out in the wilderness, so you do have to make sure that you're prepared so you don't get a sunburn. A lot of you guys leave Madeira with pink skin, so if this video can help some of you just like that, I'm already happy. And what is the best way to hike in Madeira? All right, the best way to hike in Madeira is with a hiking tour company, because most of the hikes are one way. All right, there are not many circular hikes in Madeira. They do exist, but there are not many. So most of the hikes you're going to be doing, you're going to be starting at one point, ending in another. If you're doing a rent-a-car and you're going to do 4 or 5 hikes, imagine how many extra hours you're hiking on your vacation, and what is that time worth to you, right? So if you're doing a hike and you have to go there and then you have to come back, it's an extra 3 hours, 4 hours, times that by 4, that's 12 hours, a half a day that you're losing on your vacation, minus all of your energy, just because you think you want to do it yourself and you're going to save money and save time and save I don't know what, right? It doesn't always work that way. Now, there are tour companies and there are tour companies, all right? And with us, we're a little bit different because we are hiking Madeira east to west. So this is the big walk program that we've cultivated over the last couple of years. And this is made for somebody who wants no stress, no fuss, doesn't want to park their car anywhere, doesn't want to look after their car, doesn't want to drive anywhere, wants to be picked up and dropped off in their accommodation, and wants to have a chilled out time to see the best attractions in Madeira without crowds. We have our ways of doing it, right? We are not an off the beaten path hiking tour operator. Some of our hikes are quiet hikes, so there's a nice mix, I think, in our program. We sell 5 hikes, 2 of which are off the beaten path. The other 3 are all more popular hikes, such as 25 Fonts, Caldeirão Verde, and the Peak to Peak, of which we're working for alternatives at the moment. And the way we do these is we do them in a unique way so that we can escape the crowds in small groups, maximum of 7 people per tour. So it's not, 15, 20, 30 in some of the other groups. So you're paying for exclusivity, you're paying to have a guide look after you, and you're paying to have a company that is open to improvisation when the weather changes, so that we can look after our people just the way we do in our Jeep tours. I don't think renting a car is the best way to do hiking. There is another video on our channel, André, please, somewhere, and in the description will be linked below, about how to do the peak to peak hike, and I talk about the options, the 3 options that you have. Personally, I think or a tour company, and if you don't want to go to the tour company and you want to go on your own, then the best other way to do it is to do it by taxi, right? Because if you go by taxi, then you're going to get picked up at your accommodation, you're going to get dropped off at the start point, you're going to walk, and then you're going to get picked up at the end and dropped off back in the accommodation. You don't need a car. Guys, there are no public bathrooms on a lot of our hikes, okay? So, especially for the ladies out there, right? If you're going to be going to the bathroom, all right, make sure to have a little plastic bag with you and bring your trash with you. Bring your tissues with you. Don't leave them on the hike, please. If there's thousands of people on our hikes and everyone's leaving tissues there, it gets disgusting. All right, so please be a clean hiker. I'm also going to recommend people bring some kind of a trash bag, to not only for your trash, but also if you can pick up a little bit of trash here and there, if everybody can do their part, then that way we can all keep Madeira clean. I wanted to emphasize safety and knowing that the next couple of months the terrain is going to be a little bit more unstable. There's going to be more rain coming, and there should be some more rock slides and things like that. And really, we're hoping that nothing happens and no one gets hurt. But the reality is that people do get hurt, and that people, are rescued very often from our mountains. So please stay away from closed parts, dangerous parts. There's a lot of bad information out there online. There's a lot of people who are sharing videos of these amazing places that are on very dangerous parts and on the sides of cliffs. So please don't try and be an influencer, an Instagrammer to get the photo, right? Don't climb over walls that say closed and barriers that say closed. You know, there's always another day to come back and to see these places, right? If you go over and something happens, there's not another day. And then you're also putting, you know, our firefighters' lives at risk, should I say as well, because, you know, these people have to go out and risk their lives to save people. So, you know, please be considerate in the next couple of months. What I would say is ask for advice from a professional, all right, not from the trolls on Facebook, okay? You do want to ask for advice from professionals and get in touch with a company. Even if you do 1 or 2 hikes with a guided tour with a company, they can usually help you plan out some of the other tours. At least we will. You know, a lot of our clients come out with us, even on a Jeep tour. They'll do a Jeep tour and then they say, oh, you know, I want to drive out to some places myself, and you know, at lunch or at a coffee or something, we'll help them out and show them some cool places on the map, places where you can go and stay, and also all sorts of things like that. Stay tuned. If you like Madeira and Madeira content, hit like, subscribe. We've come to the end. We're at the bus stop over here, so this is definitely a path that we can do via local bus. There's a couple of other tours that you can see, other self-guided bus tours. You can find that on our channel as well. We did the Portela hike as well as the Larano hike, both beautiful paths. There's also another video about the vertigo hikes, top 10 hikes for vertigo, for people who suffer from vertigo. And if you suffer from vertigo, I highly recommend watching that video. And even if you don't and you're interested in like how difficult some of the hikes are, you can find that somewhere. André, put it here somewhere, please. And again, links are in the description to this video, so you can find all this kind of information on where to hike and which hikes might be for you. Well, we're gonna end off over here at one of my favorite little snack bars that I'm gonna show you. Maybe we'll have a little piece of cake or something. If I wasn't running a marathon in just over 3 weeks, I would probably have a poncha. Yeah, this is one of the best ponchas in Madeira, right? Snack bar Moises, great place. They've also got cakes, and in my case, I'm doing an omelette sandwich for some protein, you know, and some carbs before tonight's run. So I'm running for the marathon. You guys might see that here on the channel. We're still figuring it out, but that's a story for another day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you need more help, you know, ask in the comments or send us an email, or check out all of the other videos I've already done on hiking. It's all listed below. And yeah, I hope you guys are all having a great time. Hope to see you all in Madeira. And yeah, Oscar,
Let's hit the road.
let's hit the road.
Hit that on, man.
Let's check. We're gonna do the taste test, eh? Madeiran McDonald's at its finest. The bread is soft. Bread is soft and nice.
Good? Yeah. All right. Get your